The Nick of Time podcast, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's going to be a good one. Everybody, welcome to episode 3 of the Nick of Time podcast. Can you believe it? It's already been 3 episodes. We have a very special guest today. His name is Yured Marquez. He's great in the gym. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to diet. So this is definitely going to be a fitness episode. So if that's not your thing, or if it's trying to be your thing, this is probably the episode for you. Yured, the floor is yours.
How you guys doing? My name is Yured. I'm 22 years old, currently pursuing my career in bodybuilding as an athlete, a coach, and a trainer. I've been doing this since I was 15, actually. So just to give you a brief summary of why I pretty much started working out. I mean, I was always, I guess, the smallest in the class, the smallest kid. I kind of built that idea in my head that, I kind of wanted to one day, I don't know, just as a kid, being 15 years old, I kind of just wanted to uh, find myself like in the gym, My mom, she was always working out ever since I was young. So I would always watch her, do her workouts and stuff. She would take me to the gym when I was little, sit me on the side. I still remember distinctively one time I actually jammed my finger on a weight for getting, just being where I wasn't supposed to. Um, but yeah, so I'm young. I'm 22 years old. I have, goals and ambitions ahead of me. Personally, I don't think I've done shit yet in my life,
Yeah.
but it's cool to see, the progress I've made. And like I said, I have like this ambition towards the whole lifestyle and like what I want to do with it. So hopefully, in the future, I'm blessed with opportunities in order to make that happen.
That's great to hear, man. So I have like two right off the bat questions just off of just a little information that you gave us. First one, obviously you said working out and seeing your mom, like you know what I mean, and then starting young. Was it like almost instant, because it was kind of like a family thing when it came to lifting weights, or did it take some time to be like, hey, I actually like doing this?
Well, um, I I feel like it kind of naturally like came into me at the same time. Ever since I was young, my favorite superhero was like the Hulk, watching him transform, all big with the muscles everywhere. So like I was always into inclined into it, like I would do like my ab exercise at home. I was a little show off in school too, like I had abs. I was that kid with abs, that skinny kid with abs. Um, so yeah, I mean, watching my mom do it, she kind of helped guide me through. At first, she didn't really want me to do like anything too extreme, like weight wise and stuff. I didn't get a gym membership until I was like 18. So I kind of got a feel for it, and then I knew that it was in me. Like it was just like something that I loved to do. And of course, seeing the progress and just gaining your confidence, feeling good about yourself, all of that just kind of made me stick to it over time.
That's awesome, man. So she kind of paved the way. And my follow up to that, I guess, would be trying to figure out how to word this in the best way. So you obviously over time fell in love with working out. Was there a moment? Because I feel like with life, like there's moments where it's like I'm going this way and my foot is on the gas. Was there a moment that, like you said, probably when you're 18, you got the gym membership, where you were like, "Hey, I'm trying to make this more than just like a hobby."
Oh yeah, definitely. And it definitely did happen once I joined the gym. So like I wasn't really into bodybuilding at first. At first, it was more like calisthenics, and I was also an athlete for Odessa High, running and cross country and track. So that kind of benefited my athleticism. Then once, my senior year came around, um, that's whenever I like, realized, okay, like I feel like I can actually do something with this. And um, other people would notice me, and they would ask me questions. I kind of feel like I was, slowly fitting into the part where like I was meant to. Like I had friends from high school come over to my house. We would work out, like, and I would have like this love to like teach people the way, like yeah, like I mean it's gonna take time. Like you're gonna have to be persistent. Like okay, like do it this way. Like do this to be a better runner, or stuff like that. So it kind of just slowly molded into like what I'm doing right now. Like I wasn't even planning on being a coach or a trainer, to be honest with you. It kind of just came to me, and I over time realized that okay, like every time I see somebody push themselves, or like every time I see progress, it's like I feel like it's me, like I feel it the
For
same way. Like
sure.
I get excited. So like I don't know, man. Like I get all hyped up talking about it. Like I just love seeing people like do good.
No,
And
I I totally understand, man, because I said this in my first episode with my good friend Mike. When I started this, right, I was like, well, I need the microphones and the table and all this stuff. It's gonna cost me like hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And I was just like, you know what, dude? Like, I had this burning urge, like sensation to just get out a lot of information. Obviously, I have some, but there's people, great people like yourself out there that have so much information. And how easy is this? You know what I mean? And then reaching other people, like you said, I feel like doing this podcast, I'm literally like I'm talking to you right now, right? But this conversation is to whoever else, you know what I mean? All the supporters, all the fans out there watching, like, and that's a good feeling because conversations like this are the ones that need to happen. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh
Compared to
yeah.
like superficial, whatever everybody else is talking about, like we need to talk about real life
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 for
And
sure.
to follow up, you talked about track. You may not remember this, but so to all the people out there, I did run track. The only
I know.
difference is there was track guys all year round who ran cross country in the fall. And I didn't run cross country because I played football. So when track in the spring came around, we all had to mesh. And unfortunately, just because of like, high school, it was a big high school and different groups, we just didn't really talk to each other. Now, I was
Yeah.
chill with everybody, but like I kind of just like stuck to myself. I had my one or two friends. But I
Yeah.
remember, man, I remember being in those stretch circles or stretch lines, and I'm like, you're talking about your calisthenics and you're talking about doing everything you do. I promise you, I have a very good memory, and it didn't slip my mind. So years down the road, now that I look at you, man, it's just so good to see. Because most people they want to tear each other down, but like, what do you benefit from that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you said,
Self-sabotage.
yeah, and like you said,
Yeah.
when you see the people you're training, their progress and everything they're going through, it lifts you up, it lifts them up, and everyone's trying to get here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember just FYI, them track days. God, I I hated running track, but I always wanted to be fast for football. So
Yeah.
I would sit there and I'd be like, all right, time to run your race. And I would just complain. I'd complain the whole time. And like there's not a lot of things I complain about. But running track, I was just like, dude, this is a lot of running. And then I would line up in the blocks, and as soon as they said set, I was like a crackhead. I was like, it was a different person. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't
Yeah.
care. I'll die on this track.
Shit, that's
But
how it
yeah,
is.
man. Yeah, I definitely remember
Hmm.
back in the day.
Yeah.
So back to you though. Enough about me. As far as like, cause educate me, cause As far as the different types of categories and competitions of bodybuilding, can you just elaborate to the people out there? And then what
Okay.
specific category you in
Okay.
competing in right now?
Well, okay. Well, first things first, you have your amateur league and you have your pro league, right? That's, like anything. And the NPC, National Physique Committee, that's the league that I'm competing in right now. Same categories both for pro league and amateur league. Women's, they have about five categories. I think they have more. They have women's bikini, bikini wellness, women's physique, women's figure, and then lastly, women's bodybuilding, which is, women's bodybuilding. And then for men, they have men's physique. They only have three: men's physique, men's classic physique, and bodybuilding. Which in bodybuilding they have subcategories. They have the 212, which I believe it means you can't go over 212. So whatever you weigh, and then they have open. So in open bodybuilding, you can be any weight. If you're gonna be below 212, honestly, like it's crazy to think that because you'll have some short guys and then you'll have some taller guys all in open weighing different. Like,
Yeah.
the weight gap is so different,
Yeah, exactly.
but
I understand.
it all comes together like aesthetically to where when you see it on stage, you're like, God damn, like they look big, you
Yeah.
know? And then you also, going lower, you have your men's classic physique, which really what they're trying to do with classic physique is chase that classic look, more like the golden days, like Arnold. Um, you know who Arnold is,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
they wear like the trunks that they wear. They're like a lot shorter, almost like boxers. So they want to show the
Hmm.
legs. They do a routine. They are categorized by height and weight in the NPC. Once you make it to the pro league, it's everybody versus everybody, really. So
Okay.
the reason why they put that cap on your weight is to keep the aesthetic. They don't want people to get carried away. And then below that is where I land. It's in men's physique. So men's physique, you only get separated by category on height in the amateur league. No weight, so you can weigh whatever you're gonna weigh. Once you make it to the pro league, it's every height versus every height. Um, Now, there's like this thing where people think, okay, like physique guys are probably the smallest, and overall they are. They don't put as much emphasis on the legs, like they have their shorts covered. Um, but a lot of times physique guys do end up being heavier than classic guys, which is crazy. But that kind of goes into like the higher end level. Like you look at the pros now, that like the top five guys, they look like mini bodybuilders. They're just like boulders everywhere. So yeah, so that's pretty much how it works. There's different categories. I feel like a lot of people might fit into one of these categories based, on their genetics. That's pretty much how it goes by.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. So when you decided to start this journey and you did your first show, just take me through that. You know what I mean? Because I haven't experienced that kind of nerve in a while, but I remember what it's like being under the bright lights. And
Um,
that first time is never easy.
no, yeah. The first time for me was in 2019. I was 20 years old. I competed in El Paso. I had no coach. I just had like a cookie cutter type diet that I was given to follow by a supplement company owner in Lubbock, owned Powerhouse Nutrition, and he helped me. He really saw potential in me when I was in my early teen or my late teens. I didn't meet him until I was 18. Once I did start, going to the gym, he pretty much looked at me and he said, like, wow, like you got the genetics, you just gotta eat, motherfucker. Like
Yeah, I
you
know.
gotta
I
you
got
gotta
you.
eat. So I'm grateful for him, like that was like a whole opening into it, like that first jump, like you said, like with your equipment, like you didn't have the best equipment, like you know it's gonna cost money, but you went ahead and did it. I saw, I don't know where I read this. It could have been on the internet, but it was like a quote that said, "Start first," or was it you? Was it you that said it? Start first and then start right.
Say that again.
Start first and then start right. Was it on your last podcast? I swear I heard this somewhere.
I don't know. I think one thing I always say, and Jocko Willink, um, ex Special Forces guy, one of my motivational speakers I always listen to, he always says the first step is the hardest step. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So it's like if you take that first step, you're already in the right direction. So you might as well just keep going. Ride this train till
Yeah.
the wheels fall off. you know. But
Yeah.
I love that, man. Like I love seeing what you do, especially especially because it's somebody homegrown. You know what I mean? Somebody from my hometown. And there's not a lot of that. And I'm
Yeah.
sure I've been in a lot of different places around the entire world, and everybody else's hometown seems to be the same, right? And be like, oh, well, I hate Odessa, or I hate Ohio, or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of people in a lot of different places don't like where they're from.
Yeah.
But I say this all the time because I revert back to all the people still doing it and working their asses off. It's great to see, and it motivates me in whatever I'm doing. You know what I mean? If it's this podcast, if it's hey me in the gym or whatever the case, my diet. You know what I mean? Like just subtle things that when you see somebody from your hometown doing good for themselves and continuing no matter what anybody thinks, they're just going. And
Yeah.
you can tell when somebody has like those blinders on and they're just focused. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you don't get to where you're at if they're not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. What you-
So that speaks volumes, man. So uh what I want to talk to you about next is obviously diet, man. Because I know you eat a lot. I couldn't imagine how much. Probably getting a headache already thinking about it. But why don't you tell the people about your diet?
Uh, well, shit. Well, I don't know if I could curse in here. My bad. You might need to cut that out.
No, no,
I have
no,
a
no.
bad,
You're
I have
fine.
a bad
You're
habit.
fine.
So,
No, it's on exclusive. Yeah, explicit.
so
Sorry. Yeah.
I, I, I've been dieting now, like legitimately for, well, shit. Right now, like I've been on pretty much my prep mode ever since January. Before that, this was like around after my first show. I did my first show. I did good. Okay, I thought, okay, like I'm not satisfied. I did my first show, and I thought, okay, like I knew that every day, I had been, and this is like a character development thing because I feel like we all need to go through character development to create these habits, especially something, like eating 6 times a day every single day. Like that doesn't just happen. Like first you have to go in through a transition of a lifestyle change, and they're like, oh, and then you have to be like, okay, like are you willing to take that next step and actually be real with yourself and be about it? You know what I mean? So I did my first show. I did an 8 week prep. I was eating a lot the first 4 weeks. Um, Probably about like 7 to 8 ounces of meat, whether it was chicken or ground beef. I would get to the gym, and then at the gym I would even take a Pop Tart. I would eat a Pop Tart, like a frost free Pop Tart before working out. After the 4 weeks going into my first competition, this was in 2019. I switched out my meats for fish, lowered down my carbs. Most of my carbs were coming in from rice. I switched it to sweet potato. You have to like transition in phases. So after I did my first show, I thought, man, like I have a lot more in me. Like I have a lot more potential. I mean, I did good, but like I feel like it's something in you, you know what I mean? To
Yeah.
where you kind of decide to be more constant, like with what you're doing. So from that I learned, I said, okay, well, like after my show, I hit like a little phase where I was mentally not into the gym as much. Um, Kind of like a little post show depression that happened. So after
Mm.
that, what my diet consisted of was, okay, I'm gonna eat 5 to 6 times a day, and I'm gonna try and eat as many carbs a day as possible. I was eating up to like 400 to 500 carbs a day, and just really burning up my metabolism, trying to eat. A lot of people do that. Like they want to bulk up and they just start eating a lot. And so um, from then on, I gained from 160 to 180. After that, I decided to do a show. So coming into 2021, my diet changed completely. I was eating 6 times a day, like I told you. Usually in the mornings, I do egg whites, eggs, oats, meal two. I'll have my chicken and rice. So you could just imagine, like it's all just quality food that I'm eating, um, and it hardly changes.
Yeah.
Like it hardly changes. And a lot of people might think like, man, does that not does it not get old? Thankfully, it hasn't. Like I've been eating chicken and rice now every single day for the past like 2 years. And no, like it doesn't get old. Like you want to make it less boring, I don't know, be a better cook. Like get
Yeah,
that
the
lifestyle change to
variety.
where
Yeah.
it'll allow you, to. So, any follow-up questions that I
Y-
might be able to add on to the diet?
Yeah, for sure, man. I got a lot.
Yeah,
So, for the listeners out there that maybe aren't competing, but maybe want to burn fat, put on muscle, what
okay.
would you advise them to do
Number one, be
diet wise?
mindful. Be mindful of what you're eating, and I feel like diet wise for like lifestyle, like you said, I mean, like we're not all trying to be a bodybuilder, which is realistic. My main tip would be to be mindful of what you're eating. Realize that you're not gonna get anywhere if you have that mentality of, oh, I'm gonna burn this off at the gym. Like real progress comes from the quality of food that you're eating. So I would probably just recommend, staying on high protein. Keep your high protein. Watch your carbs. Not everybody is the same with, carb intake. Some people have to do a little bit of carb cycling. Maybe I'm not saying carbs aren't supposed to be added into your diet, but what I'm saying is not all calories are created equal. So watch where you're getting your carbs in from. That's the main concern for me. Going like telling somebody, going into the gym, um, that could kind of go over their head, but it's what it is. It's
Yeah.
what it is.
And you kind of touched on it a little bit when you said everybody's different. As far as like we're talking our average person, right? That just daily gym goer or not even just gym, right? They're a runner, uh what do they call it, triathlon person, just yoga, just a healthy person in general. Do you believe that I'm sure you do, but what are like some like I guess no exception things as far as your diet when it comes to somebody being healthy, right? Because people do different kinds of
Yeah,
things, right? And one might work for this person. And I know depending on what kind of athlete you are, obviously that like
yeah.
dictates, right? But let's say just you trying to be healthy. What are those things that like, hey, this is like absolutely like necessary? Obviously, you said high protein. So what are some like don'ts? Because I think people hear like protein and they'll be like, okay, well, I'll go eat this. and they'll have like 20 grams of protein, but like 50 grams of sugar. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
You know what I mean? So what are
yeah.
some like things that are absolutely like no goes for the average uh, person trying to be healthy?
um, let me think. Let me think. Uh, hmm. This is well, number one. I think we should all drink a lot of water. You know,
Uh,
always stay hydrated. Uh, and like you said about the protein. So I see a lot of people do, and me myself, like I used to do this too, with their protein. I feel like I used to believe uh mass gainers was the way to go, like for skinny people. And I feel like this can be applied to anybody, not just skinny people, people who are trying to lose weight too, which they probably wouldn't be able to want to take mass gainer. But as far as their protein, uh I think we should all like strive a little bit away from the mass gainers and stick a little bit more to leaner sources of protein, like isolate. That's going to give you the protein that you actually want, the intake. You won't have the extra junk in there that your body will have too much trouble processing that would be unnecessary for you. As far as that. Now, it's a pretty broad
yeah.
question. I would have to sit down for a minute. Um,
Well,
man,
I mean, like just to like spark your brain a little bit. I'm half Mexican. You're full
oh
Mexican,
yeah,
so
yeah,
tortillas, the greatest thing the world has ever known. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I feel like that's one thing that I grew
Okay.
up around that it's just like, if you're trying
Oh,
to be healthy, right?
yeah.
A breakfast burrito every day, even every other day, it's just not it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you want to elaborate, go ahead.
So I got one for you. As far as juices, I saw somewhere where people were talking about, how a lot of people drink a lot of different, liquids out there that have a ton of sugar that you probably shouldn't even be drinking. Uh, for example, let's say, for example, kids, nowadays we give them a lot of sugar through, different drinks. And I feel that that's one of that. I feel like we can make that change that you're talking about from starting early. Like we all grow up. For example, if you're Mexican, you grow up eating all these tortillas and stuff. So it's really hard to teach like a culture how to live a different lifestyle. Um, but yeah, man, like I feel that clean is the way to go for me. I can't really explain it much differently. I think we can all agree that we can go to like a 80-20 ratio where we can go 80% clean and 20% eat whatever you want. I feel like
Yeah.
that's something that could help a lot of people start off. For example, for like a lifestyle client or like for anybody not wanting to change the way they live, you kind of have to like ease into little by little. So I feel like it just depends how you approach it,
Yeah, for
um
sure.
because um it's not something that could happen straight through. So I'm sorry, I feel like I'm going off topic,
No,
but
man.
yeah.
We're not here for that. We're here to just have that conversation that needs to be had. So wherever that takes us, it takes us. I'm not worried about it at all. I like that answer though. So going on to, I guess, my next few set of questions. What are some exercises you would say that like maybe people sleep on, that people do not do enough, and there's some exercise that people do all the time that aren't necessarily a waste of time, but are a waste of time.
Okay, well, that's gonna be different for everybody.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
but the main thing I would want to say is know what the heck you're trying to do. First off,
Yeah.
knowing what direction. A lot of people are so lost in what they're doing, to where they might not even know if they're supposed to be gaining weight or losing weight. Now, as far as exercises, I mean, I don't believe there's necessarily a certain exercise that's better than the other. But one mistake that I do see a lot of people do is that they don't know the concept of stretching the muscle and contracting it.
Hmm.
I feel like that's the number one thing with any exercise that I see, is that they're not mindful as to that. What you're doing is you're stretching out the muscle and you're contracting it,
Hmm.
and it's like, I feel like that messes a lot of things up. And what
For
it is
sure.
you're trying to do. Like, you have to be aware of like what it is you're trying to do. For example, um, let me see. For example, for me, it's always been chest. I've always had trouble contracting it.
Hmm.
The contractions what's gonna make it happen. So I would say that's probably the number one thing, is that do it right. But other than that, man, um, for example, I want to hear your take. This is about
Okay.
you. This is your podcast.
No, so I only ask that because I think when people we're talking like for the majority of people they want to burn fat, add muscle, right? And sometimes the things that they're trying to do isn't catered to their goal. I guess you could say,
There
you
you
know what I
go.
mean? But my biggest thing that I see in the gym, and it kind of is hand in hand what you're saying, is mind to muscle connection. And I didn't learn this till I think it was my second year in the military, and I deployed to Kenya. All we did was work and go to the gym. There was literally nothing. We're in the middle of the jungle, and we had like this raggedy gym with like a bench press, a squat rack, and like a few dumbbells, right? But we were out there getting yoked, and I always struggled with two: my biceps and my lats, specifically lats, not my whole back. Because when I'm rowing, um, I do a great job, right? But for some reason, uh, lat pull downs. So what I had to do was like close my eyes, right? Because I knew about the mind muscle connection, right? Because that's a real thing. You have to really
Yeah,
see the muscle growing and see that contraction, like you're talking about.
yeah,
And when I'm in the gym, it's not everybody, right? But that's the biggest thing I see. They're like, they're they're not even thinking about being in the gym. Like, what do you like? What are you thinking
yeah.
about, dude? Corn dogs? Like, and for me, if that was any advice that I would give anybody out there as far as the mental game, right? Because the physical stuff will come there as long as you keep working and doing research to what's tailored to what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
But you say contracting, and I think that starts
yeah,
right here.
yeah.
Because
Oh
people's
yeah.
minds will wander off, and
No, yeah,
I don't
man.
know, man. I'm guilty of it,
Like,
so
like for me, bro, it's just what I do, man, is like I'll just put my headphones in, And honestly, like I feel like one of those people. You know what I'm talking about? Like I feel like one of those people that just puts in the headphones and like doesn't make eye contact, doesn't like start conversation. It like that's just how I am. Like I zone out. Like I lose track of time. I lose, like I get so into it, bro. Like I just pick a weight and I forget about how many reps I'm doing. Like if I'll pick a weight, I'll be like, okay, let's go for 4 sets of 10. I'll get 10, but then I'll feel like, nah, like I can still get more. I'll get 20. I'll be like, fuck. Like I think, what really helped me in that case was not going into a workout with a certain rep range in mind. I mean, you do kind of have to have a
For
rep
sure.
range in mind, but um, being able to push past that and just pick a weight instead and see how much you could do,
Yeah,
see
for
how many
sure.
reps you could do till your face gets red or whatever, make ugly faces like um and I think that's major, like what you were just talking about. Like I remember one time I went to the gym. There was a guy doing pull downs, with a phone literally attached, like right here, talking on the phone.
What?
I'm like, bro, just leave, bro.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
So I
that's
think I
crazy.
think I think that's a lot of the stuff that a lot of beginners need to like realize, and
Yeah, for
something that
sure.
I try to teach. So yeah, like I'm glad you catch on to that because it's true.
Yeah. Well, you said
Yeah.
you zone out. I think you zone out because you've had a lot of practice of that mind muscle connection, so it comes like second nature.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I think this is like one of Michael Hearn's big things. And I do this. Um, you said not picking like a specific rep range. Like I'm big on that, and the reason why is like I said, Michael Hearn said it a few years ago. He was like, if you put a certain amount of weight on, you need to go to failure. And what that meant, and what he was getting at in the video, and it's a couple years old. I remember watching that. He was basically saying it was like if you put 225 or 185, whatever the weight is, right? And you finish and you're not sweating or you're not struggling, like why did you even do that set?
Yeah.
Now, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that really stuck with me as far as like whatever weight I'm doing, um, I try my best to struggle on every set because it shouldn't be the last set that's hard. It should be every set. You're in
Yeah.
there to kick your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's different types of people that work out different types of way. If you're one person that's like high reps, hey, whatever those high reps are, it better be like to like it's a struggle. You know what I mean? Don't
Yeah.
just like
Yeah. Yeah.
rep them out and be like, hi, yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta sweat. Well, yeah, you sweat, but like, was your chest on burning? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like so. Yeah,
And
man, I totally agree with that.
I think that kind of takes you back to, you know, another thing. It's not about the weight. You know what I mean? Uh, I feel, for example, let me just throw out an example for you. When you're working out your chest, trust me, a lot of times you're gonna have a way better workout if you simply go lighter. Like your chest is a small muscle. You know what I mean? Sure, you can get under the bar, bench 225 or 250, 315, but at the same time, I mean, you're going to be using a lot of other muscles. You're going to be using your shoulder. You're even going to be using your back. But try this, try just putting your pride to the side, right? Use that mind to muscle connection. Close your eyes. Get a weight that you're going to be able to fully extend and uh, press, like pin press together, and just watch how that pump's gonna hit you, bro. Like honestly, like um I've had times where I'm working out with somebody, and I'll just look at the way they're doing it, and I'll be like, okay, get lighter weight, fix this, do this, and do it at this pace, and it's like it makes a whole difference. And I feel that with that mind to muscle connection, you can really put in a lot more work and actually do what you're trying to do. Be mindful of what you're trying to do.
For sure. Yeah, and I think my case is a little bit different because like I have strength goals and I don't power lift, but I definitely set aside like it's like every other week for me, right? So I'd like to do that weight that you're talking about comfortably. I gotta contract because if you're not contracting, then what are you doing? You know. But then like there's certain days where I'm just like, hey, it's time to get nasty. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
like to lift different ways too. Like there's some days where you just want to deadlift, there's like heavy ass weight, like there's some days where for example, like I'll do different things. Sometimes I'll do a high volume day. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, like I'm gonna just go heavy today. And it all comes into play, bro. Like it all comes into play. Like the way I see it, man, is I see it like a big recipe or like, you know, like an equation. Like what are you trying to do? You,
Sure.
you know? And like at the end you get your end result. You know what I
To
mean?
everyone out there, big recipe. That's the key. Yured said it first. So as long as you're in the gym and you're consistent, you have a good diet, that's what matters, right? You can work out different kinds of ways. Just get your get off your ass and go to the gym.
Do
But
something.
that goes into my next topic as far as we were talking about getting nasty. The stigma, the stigma of as far as when it comes to males specifically. Our generation is like real showy, real flashy, right? The stigma around males showing their bodies and being proud of their progress. You know, because it's a double standard, and there's a lot of double standards out there. So before anybody else says anything, I understand. I hear you, but this specific one feeds to the topic at hand. So if you want to talk about that a little bit,
Um, well, I think I could kind of see where you think that stigma comes from. Um, like it's weird. Like don't get me wrong. Like I feel it. Like I remember whenever I first started, like showing off my progress or whatever. Like I felt weird.
yeah,
Like I felt weird. Like uh, and it's like a lot of different things. That people might look at it and be like, well, what the fuck? Like
hmm
different things from like oh like they might even think it's gay to like post yourself like half naked
yeah, I
or like a
understand.
restroom pic or whatever. But I think um it's just uh, like screw it, like it's just one of those things, like you're doing your thing, you want to help motivate people, of course you're proud of what you're doing, what you're accomplishing. um it doesn't always have to be looked upon that way. Like there are people out there that they might see it and they're like, like, man, like this guy looks badass, I might strive to look that way or this and that. Now, I do see the stigma and the difference between a male doing that and a female doing that. You know what I mean? Like
hmm
it's like very different. And I don't know, I saw your post where you said how it might seem douchey for a guy
Yeah.
to like, like post, and like I understand, like I feel that. Honestly, like I just kind of got over it. Like um I'm like whatever. Like I'm just doing me. Like I think it comes from, I don't know. Can't
Yeah.
really can't really put my finger on like how.
Well, the main reason why I brought it up so other people can uplift each other. You know what I mean? Especially from a male perspective, because females are great at it. You gotta love them for that. That's my best friend. Go best friend. It's my Bessie and the Tessie. You know. So,
Yeah.
um, I feel like what ends up happening is that stigma goes into guys. It's like, oh, he's just trying to show off, or he's just trying to do that. But then if you get support from other like uh, a male saying, "Hey, thank you for this, man. Like, it's motivated me, or whatever this," and you do right. But as a whole, it's not enough as far as like our culture. And if it was more that way, I feel like that stigma just might slowly. It's never gonna
Oh yeah.
fully go away, but like slowly deteriorate. You
No,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
If guys are supporting guys, like, hey man, like, good stuff, man, keep it up.
No, yeah, I feel that because like I'll be in the gym and it still feel like you might think, okay, like let's say you're at the beach, right? And you see somebody, which it's totally acceptable, to be shirtless at a gym,
Mm-hmm.
at a beach, and you see someone with their shirt off, someone's gonna think, oh, look at that guy, like he just thinks he saw that, like walking like this everywhere, and then you might
Yeah.
have someone else, be like, damn, like nice, like you look badass, bro.
Yeah,
um and I feel like it's always just a reflection
for
between
sure.
that person. You're out there, you're doing your thing, you're out, you're shining, you're doing what you're doing. Um, but I feel that stigma that you kind of comes from whatever it may be. I don't know.
Alrighty. Well, here first, ladies, keep hyping each other up. Guys out there, hype each other up, man. Have your bromances. So my next topic um, is steroids. So let's get into the nitty gritty of that. Um, I'm sure people on the daily are coming at you saying, "Hey, what are you taking? What can I do?" Because everybody wants the easy way out,
Yeah, yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, what can I tell you? I mean, I think, I think, in my opinion, if it's somewhere where it's illegal, don't do it. Like, I mean, that's just me. That's just the type of person that I am. Like, if it was to where, oh, it's illegal in the league, then well, fuck, like I probably wouldn't feel too proud of myself. One thing I will say though is I see a lot of kids on TikTok, and don't get me wrong, like I started young too. Like I started messing with it like at a certain age, and at the time I didn't know what I was doing most of the time, and that's something that I feel that is a really big problem nowadays because you have young kids, looking up to certain people, and it comes out that this is what they're doing, and you just have to be aware of the health concerns that comes with it. It's not all just uh there's not always just a pretty side to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
It has its cost. So I feel that if as a society it's more and more thrown out there, the best we could do is educate people on doing the right thing, you know, not abusing it, knowing what the hell it is that you're taking. A lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna take this and this is gonna happen to me, and they're not doing the diet, they're not working out, and it's like, what the hell are you doing to your health, man? Like,
Mm-hmm.
take care of yourself, like, do things the right way. And I feel like it could be a good thing as well. But then also, I just feel that we just need to be more educated as a society as to what it is and how to do it right. Because it's legal in other countries. We know that. Like
Yeah.
Mexico. Um, a lot of countries in South America, Europe, you can get it off the counter. Um, my take on it is be safe. Be safe with it. Know what you're doing. Know what you're taking. And if you're gonna do it, at least commit to the lifestyle that it plays part to. You know,
For sure.
um, I think that not everybody's ready, to put their health at risk in order to, see the certain results that they want to see without having the hard work ethic and the knowledge behind it to back it up in order to actually get the results they want to, have and not end up harming themselves. So I think it's just one of those things that I wouldn't want to put too much light into, but it's there.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
real.
Eh,
And
eh, Go ahead.
that's pretty much the main concern with me, and including my past self. Like, just know what the hell you're doing, man. Like, it kind of uh let's say, for example, look at Hollywood. Like, you know a lot of actors do take cycles for movie roles. I don't know if you were aware.
No, dude, like I
No?
I know enough to know that to look a certain way, like you have to be on some kind of just like
Oh
it's
yeah.
just like
Yeah,
I'm
to a
talking
certain
about
point.
size wise, yeah. Like
Yeah,
yeah, like
yeah.
it's just
It gets to
it's
that. It gets to that
impossible.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what about you? What's your main take?
On steroids. Well,
Like
mine's
in
a little bit
general, like
mine's a little
in
bit different
general.
because in the military we can't use them. But my take is, hey, if you're not in competition that says this is illegal, I mean, like you said, do your research, know what you're getting into, and just be smart. You know what I mean? Because like I put steroids as like any drug. You know what I mean? It's like people do drugs all the time. Some drugs are like not that
Like crack.
dangerous, and some drugs are very dangerous. Right? It's like know what you're doing, and like you said, if that uh you got to outweigh the pros and cons, and if your pros are that much to you when it comes to steroids, that's like how dedicated you are, then it should outweigh the cons. But for me, I'm all about like just trying to be well rounded, specifically just because I'm in the military. And there's a lot of guys that are like strong and like slow, or the vice versa, right? They're really fast, they're really slow. I mean, they're really fast, but they're not strong. And I'm not the best. There's guys that could blow me out of the water in everything, right?
Yeah.
But that's where my goal is. Every day, it's a daily goal, right? It's like I don't want to lose speed, at least while I'm young, right? I don't want to lose speed, and I don't want to lose strength.
Yeah.
And that's just like a personal thing. It's not no
Yeah.
set um like uh this has always been my thing. It's just like where I'm at right now in my life. And when it comes to steroids, it's just like what I'm doing doesn't like I could just never do them. Like I have no reason to. But I see why people do it. And like you said, you better just know what you're getting into, you know?
Yeah.
But speaking with drugs, I wanted to hit on that with like uh oh Shakari Richardson about the whole Olympics thing. Like that's crazy, huh?
Oh,
For
that
the
just
whole
happened. Like,
weed situation. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's crazy. But you know what? I do agree with a lot of people on both sides.
Yeah,
I do think that, you know what, like you are representing America um at a different level. You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
Like, you know, I think it's okay. Okay, like I think it's okay. Like if it was for me, I'll say fuck it. Go, you get two medals.
Well, we'll make you some brownies, right? You'll be all right.
but but then again, like the whole professionalism of you're representing America, you're going against other countries where it's illegal. They might be pissed off about it. Um, I mean, I think it's a sad situation, to be
For
honest with
sure.
you. I feel like yes, like it's unfair. But that should suck though. Imagine.
Yeah. So my take on it is like being a military professional of arms, right? So I none of that is like I don't even like think about like 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 really doing that. You know what I mean? It's just kind of I don't know. Like you said, it's a lifestyle. You know what I mean? And that's just not by law, but by like just by over time, this is not my lifestyle. You know. And when I think about the Olympics, you do need to have that highest professionalism possible. But I think at the same time, and Joe Rogan said this on one of his podcasts, the best podcast in the world, by the way. He was like, the Olympics can be like very corrupt, right? And not as in like, they're this bad organization, but how much money are they making on advertisement? And these athletes train their whole lives to be the fastest woman on earth.
Yeah.
Now she didn't win, but we all knew she's a shoo in. Like that is beyond greatness. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that is top tier stuff. And a lot of people are making a lot of money off of this person's life. I don't even want to say like sport because when you get to that level, that literally the highest level achievable, that is your life, you know? So it's just a very unfortunate situation, but that's just the world we live in, you know. We
Yeah, man.
take our losses and we keep it moving, you know.
That's just how it be, man. That sucked that she didn't even get to run the hurdles, huh?
Yeah. But I'm still rooting for her because she kicks ass. But lastly, man, I just want to close it up with any closing remarks that you have, anything at all you want to say, your future goals that you got, and I wanted to shout you all on your last achievements. If you just want to talk about that a little bit, because we're here to lift people up, spread the good vibes. So
Okay. Well, for this past year, I competed twice in Dallas. This was recently, about in May. My first one was in May. I went into my first show in May, man. Like I felt ready. I said, like I'm gonna go into the show and I'm gonna win. Like in my mind. But at the same time with that calmness, like I didn't have any anxiety. I just felt confident, way more confident than going into my first show, which, I knew then, like, okay, like I've made my progress now. I'm gonna see what I can do. So I came into that show and man, like it was close between me and this other guy living in Dallas. Very close, bro. Like it was either me or him.
yeah,
Now I was looking at the videos um of when we were up there, and like I could see my mistakes. And like honestly, man, like I'm not upset about any of my placings. My family, they were a little upset for my first show because they were like, man, like you look good. Like for me, like I mean, I think you, and I agree. I personally do believe I look more conditioned. I looked a little bit harder. You know, my muscle bellies were there. Like I was shredded, bro.
Hmm.
Uh, it was a fun experience being backstage, man. I met a lot of people all around Texas. Um, and the vibe back there, bro. While everybody's pumping up, I had this one guy, and he was on class A, so he was a lot shorter, and he looked great, bro. Like I kept my eye on the guys that okay, like this guy's competition, like okay. He came up to me, bro, while I was pumping up. And he looks at me from head to toe. He's like, okay, okay, we'll see, we'll see. And, and it's just like yes, bro, like that fires me up. Like I like I
Yeah, it's
like that little
competition, man. We thrive off
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Trust me, dude. I know.
I'm very thankful to have been able to even like be up there, man. Um like I said, I was looking at my past videos and like I could see through my mistakes, going into my next one, like I already know like what's gonna work for me, what's not, more or less than any time. So the way I see everything, bro, is I got second place at Kuklo, I got eighth place at Europa. Um, but it was all for greater good experience, bro. Like honestly, I loved every second of being up there. Going into the Europa, it was a much bigger show. I was going up against 30-year-olds, bro, like big stack dudes, ready for nationals. Like they moved on to nationals like right then and there, like a couple weeks later. So you could tell the competition was stacked. Either way, man, like um, building those connections, meeting more people. I met people from Houston, doing the same thing. Just overall feeds on to my ambition,
For sure.
Um, I always respect the judges' placings. Um, I'm happy with the way the season went. So right now, what we're looking into doing is bulking up again. So right now, I'm sitting at about 183. We're just gonna bulk up to about 205. I don't know how, bro, but that's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah.
205. And moving on to next year. Now, this might be a little exclusive information, but I'm gonna do two shows next year again. I'm gonna do a local and I'm gonna do a national in Arizona in July. So
Awesome.
national, just to get a shot at my pro card. Now, who knows? Who knows what'll happen, man? Like right now, I'm just looking to overall improve my weaknesses, and I feel like I have a good eye on being able to build up my physique. So I'm excited, bro. I'm fired up every day. I go into the gym. I'm like, man, first place mentality, bro. Like, let's go, let's get it.
That's
So
awesome, man.
it's just a long term thing, man. It's gonna take time. It's gonna be a day by day thing. We're not gonna see changes tomorrow. Not until next year, bro. But we'll see. We'll see what happens next year. So I'm excited for that. Building up
Already,
my
man.
business. So I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
excited, bro.
you wanna talk about more about your business? That's what this is for, man. To uplift
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. Well, it's it's gonna be an in-person and online business for training and coaching. I'm gonna offer different packages right now. Just trying to organize myself, man. Like coming up with a logo with a friend of mine, and
I know that feeling. Trust me, I know that feeling.
and just looking to build it up, man. By time, like it's just gonna take time, and I feel like it could be something great.
Already. Do you have a website or anything, a link yet?
No, no, no,
No,
no, no,
unfortunately.
no.
Well, everybody, I have had the pleasure of hearing the great news of exclusive news that Yured will be going for his pro card next year. This man is at the top of his game. He's starting his new business and he's doing great things. And before I close it, I just want to let everybody know, like, I've probably like seen him maybe like once or twice around track practice, like I mentioned earlier, but we never met. This is our official like first time having a full conversation, and I thought it went well. And I love listening to you, man. I love what you got going on, and just keep shining, man. Keep providing that motivation for a lot of people, because I hear this a lot, and I'm sure you probably hear it even more than me. You never know who you're affecting, and you never know who's listening. So that's big. That's super big. So
I
Yured,
appreciate it, man.
thank you for letting me have the honor of you being my third guest. I really appreciate it, brother. Let me know when you get that website up. We're gonna have you come back,
Oh, for
and
sure,
we'll
man.
promote it and do everything we gotta do, man.
Thank you for having me, bro. Like honestly, going into this conversation, I was excited. Like honestly, like I did get a little bit nervous, talking for people, but I appreciate it, bro. Thank you for having me here. It's an honor, being your third guest. Just getting started, man. I want to see
Man,
you go far. Uh,
hopefully.
I want to see you grow a passion for what you're doing, man. Like, talking to people, just having a normal conversation. And go you, bro. Go ahead and
I
see how far.
appreciate it, brother. And that passion's already there. It's just only gonna grow from here. I promise you that, because this is such a great way to get great people, like I said previously, their messages out and what's going on in their head. And
Yeah,
these are conversations that need to be had. And I have a passion for helping people listen to these conversations. So thank you again,
I
everybody.
appreciate it,
Nick
Don.
of time, please feel free to like and subscribe, support the channel. You're the man, man. Everybody, take care.
All right, later,
It was a
guys.
pleasure, brother.
You too, bro.
Have a good one.
Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. For more, be sure to like and subscribe. And y'all take care. See you soon.